James had a request for Jiao Sao. Thanks, man. I think Jiao Sao is fascinating. I'm going to mention something so you guys are patrons and some of you came through YouTube. I have a Jiao Sao video on YouTube that's demonstrating the nature of how they think about this technique. It's easily the most successful YouTube video I've had because it's full of comments of people saying the meanest shit to me ever, right? Even this morning I woke up to one and I was like, man, I was trying to start my day, Jiao Sao is a concept, right? Really what you're trying to learn is the idea of, it's as simple as if this door is closed, try the other door, try the side door, try the back door. You get the idea, right? When one thing is closed, something else is probably open. That is inherently, or at least very often, true when it comes to this sort of thing. The way you learn these concepts is about going high to low to high like that, right? So here, you're just learning to change levels because you're learning the idea of this door is closed, this door is closed, so try the low one. Meaning one side of the body is a door, right? Is a set of possibilities. The other side, and then that's true in a high-low capacity, or one side to the other side of the body. So you're just learning to break the body into zones and conceptualize the way that you train things in that format. So you're starting with a person who's politely acting as a kind of heavy bag for you, as a training dummy, and then I'm doing the same for him. That's why he's stationary, right? So we're here this way, and I want to feel what it's like to hit a barrier and then change my mind and maybe hit another barrier. So that's just kind of the first part, is you're just learning that idea. This is saying we want to teach you to play very high level baseball, but you've never done this before, especially with children. So you put the ball in a tee and you let them figure out how to hold a bat and how to move and swing. And you know what I mean? You don't take somebody who's 6 years old or whatever and fire a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at them. That's everyone's analogy, but it's because it's true. And so that's the idea behind this training platform. So first thing typically you learn for Jiao Sao is you run into this barrier. So you're starting outside of the reference point. You're trapping into the reference point, or rather you're trying to score that Pak Sao, but you run into this strong lead hand. So you're going to have to redirect. Your redirect, having finished your Pak Sao, is going to come around. But you see how this is all still very much in front of me? That means when this comes around, my checking hand is still here on his arm like that. And this is seeking its target. I'm not going one and then kind of separating and swinging this around, okay? Jiao Sao, which means traveling hand, is going to be fairly small. I'm just moving around. It almost starts off looking like Hyun Sao, but it disengages and re-engages like that. So 1 and 2, 1, 2. Again, this hand is here because if I don't have it here, he should back fist me right in the face. Yes. Thanks for being nice about it. 1, 2. On his end, he's going to do exactly that. He's just going to bring the arm out here so that I have something I run into. 1 and 2. Good to remind ourselves that a lot of these techniques were being developed at a time where a lot of the defensive motions looked a lot like that, right? This sort of thing. And so you're running into these solid limbs all the time. So you can imagine, boom, it's a big outside block and a big outside block on this hand. So you have these rigid kind of heavy structures here so that when you pull these, you've really got something that you can get a grip on. So how that part works is, having gone on this side, I'm going to allow both hands to slide down. They're called Jut Sao, or in this case it would be double Jut Sao. So this is sort of the basic follow-up to having done Jiao Sao. We're going to let the pinky side of our hand, like these are cupped this way, come to rest right in the crook of his elbow. It's kind of like it's gathering the arm up this way, and you're letting them just pull, boom, boom, right into your hip. This way, see the hands move a little bit, and the hip kind of comes in because I'm creating, like pressure into it. It's trying to explode everything in. The second part to the nature of this is you're going to drop your base. So it's pick your feet up and sink like that. The way I first learned this is you're imagining a house with a basement, right? So part of it's underground, and the basement just disappears. The rest of the house would fall right into that hole. That's kind of how this should feel. It's like the bottom comes out, right? 1, 2, here like that. See the hand is open like I tried to slap him. Then I let it slide in on this side. It slid in already on this side. I'm gonna pull in the direction of my near side hip, bang, like that. See his whole body drop? Right, now this is being done as nice as I can while still trying to demonstrate the nature of it. The first time I really got my bell rung, not quite knocked out, but in training at the Collie Group, was with this. And it's because I dropped so bad that I had that whiplash thing happen, and I was the whole time. And so I really believe in the nature of this technique. So again, jut could be with one, or it could be in this context with two. If we do it from the other side, from the same lead, right lead, 1, 2, bang, like this. Okay, be mindful of your head when you do this. There's a tendency for them to clash. So that might tell you one, well then I'm gonna point my head at him and make that a headbutt as he drops down, which is risky because you've got two heads slamming into each other. There's a difference between me making him headbutt me and me grabbing him and burying my forehead in his face, right? Those are two very different things. So you might think of this that way, but I just think you should be cautious, especially training it. All right, from the double jut, I'm gonna slide my right, because I'm in my right lead, this is my, my left, my rear hand across the bow and hit. Okay, so that's gummed out that way. This is just one method of learning how to do this. And I think this sequence may have come from Guru Asano. I learned it from Rick Faye, and if my memory serves, this is really his sequence. So here, 1, 2, 3, like that. See this slide and hit? So this kind of becomes quick, 1, bang, like that. So it just hits. So dividing the mind is the name of the concept of going high to low, low to high, that sort of thing. So that when we're here like this, and we run into that arm, we come in and immediately go low. So I'm dropping my whole self down, right? And it's like I'm doing a deep squat, and I'm just bang into the groin like that. But you just slap the thigh, like that. And you could follow up however you wanted. So that gives you an opportunity to play around with half beat training, right? To kind of go, can I go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that? Can I put that low shot in before he even realizes that this thing is kicked off? It takes a while to get to that point. It's very easy to lose that skill. By the way, it's something that quarantine sure taught me. But that's what you want to have, is this thing that happens on the body, because you're developing the ability to change your hand position. More than anything, perhaps, you're developing a full body awareness in real time of where different targets of opportunity or that you create might be. Some common follow-ups for this sort of thing. So we go 1 and we go 2 like this. When you do your jut, you're just gonna go rear knee to the thigh like that. This is one of my all-time favorites. So the knee just lifts, point it right at the thigh, and turn that hip right in, just slam right through. 1, 2. Again, divide the mind. We just have him occupied thinking about, worrying about, or just paying attention to all this stuff that's happening up here. So that when we pull, he doesn't even remember that this is happening down here. 1, 2, bang, like that. Now, where you go from here would be up to your interpretation, but there's a lot of great stuff that can happen as you're just conceptualizing this, or if you're just having fun, you're kind of building combinations or whatever from this position, right? I mean, imagine it's like I want to choreograph a fight or whatever. We're just going to start one guy like this. I get to do all my cool stuff to him, you know? So it's fun to play with it. Sometimes the knee becomes a stomp, like Dum Tek. So again, we're thinking using traditional Wing Chun to amplify our awareness, our dexterity, and just our overall ability to conceptualize our training in an elevated way. So we come here and we pull, you just make that stomp like that. So 1, 2. When you have this double jut motion, a lot of his weight and momentum is coming this way, and now I'm kicking out on the bottom line. So it's like he's on one side of the triangle, and I kick the whole triangle out across the bottom. 1, 2, boom, like that. See, the knee is already there. Swimming in is a common follow-up. So you just go 1, 2, and there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. You're all the way up into your clinch, and you just throw your knees, work whatever you like to work in your clinch, that kind of thing. But just skip right up. 1, 2. Just think 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? 3 and 4 for your clinch. You're just learning the idea of how do we get things out of the way and get ourselves in there. But when I'm training this, I'm just thinking of, I'm gonna run you over. I'm not thinking of, we're gonna change angles and shapes and this patty cake sort of thing. On the contrary, it for me feels extremely aggressive if I kind of plug into that part of it, because the whole time there's just this sense of like, dude, I don't care what you put in front of me. Those are going away and I'm going through you. And that's the nature of it. That's why the destructions exist here, you know what I mean? It should just get pretty violent pretty quickly because you're in super close. Small disengagement jiao sao is the last one that I'll show for today. So James, I hope that you like this. If I'm not really hitting the mark for what you're looking for, because I know you mentioned just wanting just more info on jiao sao. So hopefully this helps. Otherwise, fire any questions away that you have. And we could go through some of the MKG stuff separately or whatever. If you're here like this, it's a small disengagement. So large means you go to the outside of the far hand. Small means you're to the inside of the far hand or between the two hands. So usually this goes right into Buji like that. Because this is eyes, throat, whatever, okay? This obviously could be palm this way. Don't hit the cartilage in their nose because it goes into their brain and then it's a death touch. And I don't know, I saw it in a video game where you hear this way. So the follow-ups from here are plentiful. The easiest one that I like is to just bring this back and gather this up. This is Jut Sao on the inside, maybe Loi Jut Sao you would call that. And I gather this towards my body like that. And as I gather, I'm hitting like this. I love this technique. 1, 2, bam, like that. You're just in a kind of unpredictable way pulling them directly into that punch. And so my whole punch is like that. It's just small, but I'm ripping his face into it at the same time. So it's really a big shot. Obviously be careful with it, but it's a great one to have. Imagine he's just been down right in the eyes. Boom, like that, right? And now we straight blast or do whatever your follow-up would be. So thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting or valuable. I just think this stuff is very fascinating. It teaches you how to learn, and that's extremely valuable in any setting. And we'll see you for the next one.